Hello and welcome to the Ascension Football Show. I'm Joel Villafano. Our Soca Warriors suffered a huge defeat at the hands of the USA. Can Coach Terry Fenwick get it right before our next World Cup qualifier on March 25th? This is the Ascension Football Show. Here's what's coming up. Straight to our big story of the week. Yeah, there were shock waves that traveled through the national football landscape. Our national team succumbing to a 7-0 defeat at the hands of the CONCACAF giants, USA. National coach Terry Fenwick fielding not only an inexperienced team, but a team that had at least 6 US-based players that were totally unfamiliar with the national setup. Serious questions are now arising, as we are just about 6 weeks away, guys, 6 weeks away from what is our very first World Cup qualifier against Guyana. To look back at the team's forgettable performance against the USA, and then look ahead to what will be our next assignment, that World Cup qualifier against Guyana. We have joining us in studio none other than former national player, once a Rastaman, now a baldhead, now bravely boasting of a bald head with a cap. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brent Sancho.
Thanks for having me, Joel.
Brent, thank you very much for being here with us. Brent, in a statement on his Facebook page, Coach Terry Fenwick apologized for taking this game against the USA. Taking the game against the USA was an error?
It depends on, of course, what was available to him. I think at the end of the day, we all know what the pandemic situation would have caused throughout the footballing world. It is difficult for international games to be played. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago themselves was on a ban from FIFA, and that would have posed, of course, some challenges. At the end of the day, for Trinidad and Tobago is a World Cup aspiring team, a World Cup aspiring team. For you to get to these tournaments, you have to be the best in your region. USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, they're the creme de la creme, they're the best. So we have to play against them. Of course, as I said, with all the issues, with the COVID and the ban, it may not have been the first game that he would have wanted, but it was a game. It was an exercise that they could have used to, of course, to gauge, to start putting ourselves together, to start putting that guiding movement towards the first game in March 25th against Guyana.
Coach Fenwick attempted to at least pull some positives out of the experience. Were you able, I mean, you watched the game, we all watched the game, were you able to pull any positives out of that?
Listen, the only positive I would have seen from the game is the fact that we played a game. Outside of that, I thought it was an absolute catastrophe for us in not just the result. The result sometimes in warm-up games is not what you look at from a coaching perspective on what we look at. But when you look at the performance, the tactical approach, the selection of players, and of course what came out after the game, the song bites that came out after the game, I think it's something that we would have to remedy very, very quickly. All fixable, I must say, Joel. All these that I've spoken to, very much fixable, but it's something that needs to be remedied very, very quickly if we are to have any chance against Guyana.
Let's look at one of those song bites Brent is speaking to, because after the game, Coach Fenwick admitted that gambling on the 6 or so US-based players that he introduced into our national team, he admitted he was disappointed.
Well, I took the gamble because they're playing in the USA, MLS and USL players, and I didn't see that experience coming through. I thought we crumbled very early. The first goal, we had a game plan, how we were starting the game, first 15 minutes, and senior individuals within the team mechanism switched off. Well, I had 6 players start the game that I've not seen before. I've seen them on bits of YouTube and other information that I've collected from them. They're playing in decent leagues. I expected more, I expected better, and we just didn't perform. It was like the occasion was too much.
Brent, risky to go into a game with 6 players that you would have only seen on YouTube, international setup? Was that risky for Coach Fenech?
It's risky to start the players. I think at the end of the day, he should have used the core players that was training for the last 4 to 5 months as sort of his platform, his base for his team, and maybe integrate the foreign-based players. Then, of course, you have to question the fact that the method used to scout these players in a time of age where we have Y-Scout, where we have GPS, we have all these different things in our ring. And of course, Terry Fenech is a former England international. He should have connections from a footballing perspective all over this world. He played for England in the World Cup. He would have had former teammates that would have played elsewhere. So he should have had the connections to at least, of course, do that side of things. So the risk really and truly was the fact that he played them from the start. I think that was an error. That was an obvious mistake and was a baptism of fire for the 6 players.
When you look at the team, as I said, football fans, people who may have even been following the national game, the local game, I think when you saw the team sheet, he said, everybody was a little surprised. The likes of an Atula Guerra, a Marcus Joseph, a Willis Plaza, just to name a few players. Coach Fenech seems to be going away from those older players, 30-plus players, and looking for younger players. Would you have tried to at least include some of these experienced, locally based players in that?
You have to, especially if you take into consideration, again, the pandemic, where a lot of players would not have had the opportunity to play football last year. And the fact that we are a small nation, we don't have a huge player pool. It's not like you're pulling from a very exciting under 20 or in the 21 or the 23 team. We are a very small nation, and we do develop players. We do have 1 or 2 talents that emerge. So you need that experience. And when you're phasing players out and you're going through that transition period, it's something that goes along the way. It's not a forced cut and dry kind of situation. So I felt that some of the more experienced campaigners should have been around the team. I remember the World Cup is right around the corner. We have a game against Ghana right around the corner. And you need experienced campaigners at least to get us into that rhythm from a World Cup qualifying perspective. And if while that is happening, you start to integrate and bring the young players in, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Finding the balance for any coach between youth and experience is a critical skill. When you were 30, you still had something to offer.
I felt so.
You weren't parked up and ready to call it quits.
I felt so, and I think, at the end of the day, international experience is just that. That when a player would have played 20, 30 international games, that is huge, because then he understands the international landscape. And when you looked at the game, a lot of those players were basically thrown in at the deep end. And again, Joel, the part of it that I didn't like is after the game to chastise these players for their performance. You just don't do that. That's not something you do, because you need this. As I said, we have a small pool of players. It's not the players' fault. Mm-hmm. Make sure you keep them out of the equation, and of course deal with the facts of the matter of the game.
Yeah. Before we look ahead to what's upcoming next for Coach Fenech and our national team, Coach Fenech pointed to an age-old issue in Trinidad and Tobago's football: a lack of proper development.
We haven't got a development program in Trinidad. Nothing. There's nothing at grassroots level. There's nothing at 13s, 15s, 17s. We haven't got that. So by the time the players get to my national side, there's still a hell of a lot of development to be done. So we've got to try and correct that.
Brent, Coach Fenech has a point here. Before we look and continue to look for miracles in our football, have we taken and are we continuing to take a proper developmental structure for Trinidad and Tobago's football? We take it for granted, and then we expect a national team to go out and perform against the best in the world.
We've never had a real bona fide national development plan, but it did not affect the likes of a Leo Ben Hacker. It did not affect the likes of a Bertil Sinclair and coaches like that. They were still able to get results with the resources that they had. So to even bring it up now after your first game is a challenge for me to even try to understand. Development in Trinidad and Tobago, national development of a player, yes, there is an issue. We haven't structured it properly. When you look at the blueprints that are set all across the world, you talk about the US, probably about 10, 15 years ago, they were not tuning out that sort of talent. But guess what they did? They invest, of course, the development of the young players through the MLS academies, etc. So now you see the likes of the Pulisic and of course McKennie at Juventus, just to name a few. So that's not surprising because they've gone down that path. But it's not an excuse because, as I said, we've had coaches who have used the resources they had to get the kinds of results. I think the national development needs that sort of conversation, a bigger, wider conversation, and of course a direction as to how to implement it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. A lot of countries are doing it, and it's something that should happen here in Trinidad and Tobago.
The reality now, it's 6 weeks to go, just about 6 weeks to go before our first World Cup qualifier against Guyana. March 25th is that date, guys. Mark it on your calendar. Enough time for Mr. Fennick to get it right?
It depends on how he approaches this, and I think that's the overarching question. He can come back to Trinidad and with his fist clenched and wants to fight everyone, or he can be all-inclusive and try to get as much help, as much knowledgeable people around him to try and turn the ship around. I think if what I saw in Orlando on Sunday, if I was to go on just that alone, I think we're in big trouble come March 25th. But if he is all-inclusive, all-encompassing, get every help, and not make it about Terry Fennick, make it about the national program, then I think we could do well and we could turn things around.
Brent Sancho, thanks for joining us for a big story today on the Ascension Football Show. When we come back, we head up and down the Ascension Football League.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches. Right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for Carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What? You want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions. Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. So everybody say, hey, oh. We wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension, Ascension, Ascension. We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension. We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
All right, we're back, and it's time now to head up and down the Ascension Football League. One of the new teams jumping onto the forefront is a team coming out of the western end of the peninsula. They're covering the catchment area from Carenage to Cocorit to Diego Martin, St. James, Maraval, that entire catchment. It is the first time that a team is coming out of that area for at least 3 decades. That area is always been a special area here in Trinidad and Tobago. It has produced players the likes of Carlos Edwards, Angus Eve, Cornell Glenn. In recent times, Kevin Molino, Kaleem Highland, Karen Ballpest Cummins, the man behind this effort, this team, West Fort United, is also a former national player. A player that has also come out from this Western Peninsula. His name is Ron the Professor Laffory, and I have pleasure to have him here on set with me. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, my brother. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
West Fort United.
Yeah.
One of the teams that all of a sudden you're hearing little things about as the football hoping to come back onto the front burner.
Yeah.
Where did West Fort, the entire concept of bringing a team out of the western end of the peninsula, where did that come about from?
All right. First, let me thank you for having me on this set, right? Well, I appreciate it. West Fort came out of the wilderness of me playing my entire career in the western part of Trinidad before the national team called me. So one day I went down to Diego Martin in the brand new stadium, and I saw a league going on there. That league was what you call the First Citizen Cup was going on, and I said to myself, you know, how it is they don't have a team from the west in that league. So that's how the whole thing started off. I said to myself, hey Ron, you know what? You could bring a team from down on this side, you know, given the talent that we have in the west. And that's how this was born. I just decided to go and talk with some good friends of mine, and we decided to bring this team Westford into the frame.
Community football is something that I think is now being looked at very seriously, and it's really just such a shame that over the last 3 decades, at least based on my memory, we have not had a team representing the western end of the country.
Yeah.
Now you taking the initiative to move that forward, how challenging has that been for you, Ron?
No, it's challenging, but I do enjoy challenges, you know. I have seen with my 2 eyes. I noticed that we have so much talent down on that side, and if you look at the talent we have, it tends to go outside to play for other teams and stuff like that. You know, so is my vision to bring back the glory days in the western part of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. One of the things that running a football club in these times, in these challenging times, as we look ahead to the start of the Ascension Football League, this is a time when players, coaches, everyone involved in football almost needs to hear some sort of good news. So we're hoping that football will start, but tell me, what are you looking ahead to as you look ahead to the Ascension Football League starting, hopefully, in a couple of weeks' time? Yeah,
we'll be looking ahead at having some fruitful sponsorship coming on board to help us take the dream forward, you know. So many players out there and doing nothing right now, you know. So having this team, I think it should uplift the community in terms of, you know, people will have somewhere to go when the night comes. You know, I think that is what we're looking at this point in time.
Your home ground is the new Diego Martin Sporting Complex. Beautiful ground down on that side.
Yeah.
Looking forward to welcoming fans down on that side?
Yeah, definitely so, because back in the day, you know, Diego Martin always have what we would call a whole lot of supporters, you know. They came from all over. You know, I remember my days in playing down Diego Martin. You know, the actual areas like the Caranas, the Coquille, the Piggy Valley and stuff like that, people coming all there to see us play, you know. So I decided to bring back that kind of support into the community.
Yeah, and the team at this stage, Ron, I know it's very difficult in terms of getting players together, contact sport not being allowed just yet. You're just waiting on the word to start training and getting your team ready for competition?
Yeah, definitely so. You know, I was telling one of my directors, Mr. Pierre, that I don't want to break the protocol in terms of, you know, starting, and then, you know, maybe the police or somebody come and, you know, kind of clamp it down. So I was just sitting back until the Prime Minister and him open up so that we could start back putting back these things together.
What's your objective going into the new football season, going into the Ascension Football League? Will Westford be a force to be reckoned with?
Well, knowing me as a player, knowing me as a human being, knowing me as a past soldier, I always train to win. You know, Westford in any competition will always be a force to reckon with.
That's Ron Laffery. That's the new head coach of the new team coming out of the western side of the country, Westport United. Ron Laffery, as we look forward to what he will bring to the football landscape here in Trinidad and Tobago. The Ascension Football League coming to you very, very soon. Stay tuned. We're coming right back next as we head up and down the Ascension Football League.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Hey, Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. Now everybody say, hey, oh, we wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension! 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Pest control is a pain, but you don't have to go it alone. If you're a business that needs someone who will fix your problems point blank, go with the brand that's tested. Go with Terminix. Our Trinidad franchise neutralizes the threat of tropical insects and ensures that companies, from food production to hospitality, protect their investment and get the maximum value from our relationship. Contact us today for a free consultation and quote, and let's introduce you to convenience.
And we're back as we head up and down the Ascension Football League. It's the Ascension Football League gearing up for a big restart very, very soon. Keep right here on the Ascension Football Show. We'll give you all the information as it comes to hand. We're focusing now on a team that comes out of the central area. Community football really becoming more and more of an important thing here in Trinidad and Tobago. And this team has been operating for the last 7 years, almost as an academy, grooming players in the Central Division. This team is called Central Soccer World, and they work in that catchment area of St. Mary's, Freeport, that entire Central Division. Their head coach is a man by the name of Randolph Boyce, and he's here with me to look at what they've been doing, the work they've been doing in the Central area as they look forward to be playing very soon in the second division of the Ascension Football League. Mr. Boyce, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyce, so as the head coach of this unit, you told me that it's at least 7 years of developing young footballers in Central. Tell me about that developmental stage first. It's almost like an academy-like club that you run down in the Central area.
Yes, we start with from 4 years upwards, but we give the players a platform after they reach age of 18 to graduate onto the senior team. Because what you find nowadays in football, a lot of people run academy, but when the players reach at senior level, they have to go elsewhere to play. So what we do is graduate them into the senior team. We have a lot of players that have a strong academic background. So they tend to filter in very lovely and they tend to do well. Over the years, we have won the Central Zone twice, 2018, 2019. We also won some of the Cups tournament. So you could see the development in the terms of the players, not just playing, but they actually winning stuff as well.
Yeah. That's brilliant, because so based on what you're saying, Central Soccer World Football School, developing young players from the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, and when they get up to that teenage years and are already looking to now play big football, you've created a club environment where they can actually now represent.
Yes, that's what we have done.
That's fantastic. You're now coming out of the Central Zone. You're looking forward to playing in the second division of the Ascension Football League.
Yes, we are. Because the organization is a very ambitious organization, and we don't just want to play in the Central Zone. We also want to play the Super League. We want to play at Pro League at one point in time. So our ambition is high. The Ascension League is a very, very interesting league when we look at it last year with the organizations and the platform and the structure that they lay out. You see that they're trying to take football in Trinidad to a different level. We are so happy to be part of that this year, and we're very ambitious to try to do good in this league.
Yeah. It's important, I think, when these football clubs actually emanate and come out of a particular area. Tell me about the work and some of the things that you would have seen with your own two eyes in terms of developing young players in that central area. I know when a club comes out of an area like this, it's a real community-driven thing.
Yes, the whole central region has a lot of talent. Sometimes the talent go unnoticed, sometimes the talent go to different zones. So what we try to create is that the talented players of the central region, they could come and build a platform for themselves, play with us, get recognized, and if they choose to move on after, they move on. But in terms of the development of the players, it has been amazing to see that the willingness on their part and the work that we put in day in, night, because sometimes we train night with the senior team and day with the younger ones and them. And when you're seeing that work start to really bear fruit and come to fruition, it's amazing to see that the amount of talent and the amount of success that is coming out of the central area.
You've seen players at the club develop from toddler, 4, 5, 6 to teenage to senior. You've seen that development over the years.
Yes, I'm the head coach of the organization plus one of the directors on the board of the organization. So I with the organization from beginning, and you're getting to see that transformation, and you're getting to see the good work that is coming out of the organization.
What's the ambitions of this club? I know I said first thing on the agenda right now would be the Ascension Football League. You're going to be playing in the second division. What's the ambitions of this club?
The ambition of this club is quite high because we want to aspire to one day play in the Pro League as well. We know that it has steps that you have to take to reach the Pro League, like win your zone. We finished in 2019, we finished third in the Champion of Champions. We won the zone, we finished third. We played in a league that the TTFA had called the League of Champions. We finished second before the COVID interrupted it. And here we are at the Ascension League, where we're trying to get with foot in, stamp with authority in there, and try to see what's next for the organization in terms of going higher.
Round of boys. Thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Right here on the Ascension Football Show. Look out for Central Soccer World. They're going to be lighting up the second division of the Ascension Football League.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Kishon Sichon and I represent Terminix Locketa Rangers. The first time I ever kicked a ball, I missed the old boy, burst my toe, and from then I just continued playing football. When I first fell in love with football, I was over the TV watching Ronaldinho and then play football. And then I started to go to the coaching school, Santa Rosa, first FC Santa Rosa, and I never turned back from there. I never used to want to go, like when I go to play, I never want to go home. I would stay. I would try to stay. I didn't want sessions to finish. I didn't want football to finish. Even when I home, if I do my homework, I would hurry my homework down and run away, hide and go and play football. I born and grew in Takriga. I used to mostly go to Ediat football grounds, and that is where I play most of my football as a youth. Every Saturday morning we used to play. It had like 4 fields on Ediat ground, where they used to play under 13, under 15, under 17. So we started off playing down to the back, more to the hockey center. I had a small field for the under 13s, under 15s. So we used to play, every Saturday morning we used to play. It used to have 3 games, different age groups. That is where I started off playing. My favorite position is left or right midfield. That is where I enjoy playing most times. I love to pick up the ball and go after defenders and score goals. So that is why I enjoy playing. Watching football on TV and seeing the lifestyle of these players, Ronaldinho and Kaka and these players who I grew up watching, I always wanted to experience what they experience playing abroad, playing for big clubs, living the lifestyle. So when I started playing, and I started to play at a higher age group, under 17 and stuff, I realized that I wanted to take football serious. The first club I started playing for was the Defence Force. At 17 years, I started playing Pro League with Defence Force. I played there for like 3 seasons, and then after there I went to Central FC. And after Central, I started off with Northeast Stars. It was a great experience playing amongst all these senior players, grasping all the knowledge and experience you could get from them. Playing with players like Devon Jocelyn and Akil Edwards, Joan Baltazar. At Central, I played with Sean De Silva, Leston Paul, these fellas. Always used to want to be around these players because they were the more experienced and bigger players at these clubs. You know, it's always a pleasure to represent your country at any level. I started off playing with the national 17 team under Sean Cooper. Then I went up to under 20 with Derek King. Then I played for the national under 23 team. It's a very good experience to always represent your country. Going away, traveling, visiting different countries, and experiencing, you know, other weathers and different atmosphere, playing in front of big crowds and stuff. It's always a pleasure to play at a senior level amongst these big players that play abroad. It's always a pleasure to brush shoulders with them. My goal is to score as much goals as possible and be a big asset to my team, help my team to win the tournament. The last Ascension Tournament, there was 2 divisions, first and second. I played at the second division with UTT. I top scored in the second division with 12 goals. We came second, 1 point behind the team from South. And after that, there was opportunity. The coach, Dave, called me to come to train to Terminix, and then after, I did my best under over here. It's basically the best team I ever played for in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, the experience, the level of professionalism, the way that the coaching and the coaching staff, everyone takes good care of the players, everything here is perfect. Our main goal is to make sure and win this tournament because our manager, he need us to win this tournament. And for us as players, it's always a pleasure to win whatever tournament you're playing in. Come out victorious.
Yeah, that's Keyshawn Cicheran, one of the players to watch in the upcoming Ascension Football League. I'm Joel Villafana. It's been a pleasure bringing you the Ascension Football Show. Join us every week right here at AscensionTournament.com.